Today, we're gonna get my 1970 Camaro ready for summertime. Because Lord knows if I don't do it now, I'm probably not gonna. And I don't wanna make the same mistakes I made last summer. Now there's a lot of stuff planned for today's video. I'm not gonna get into it because I never stick to the plan, and I'll probably end up doing 50 other things and not accomplishing any of them. So we're gonna skip that this time. But I got so many projects going on, it'd be good just to get one out of the way. And this is my favorite one, so ladies first. Now I know you're probably saying, Logan, what does this car need? It's already so beautiful. And you are right, but I was kind of in a hurry to get it done and to get it to some car shows and just drive it last summer. I mean, can you blame me? Now we got to kind of take a step back and fix a lot of things. Not even fix, mainly just install, because there's a lot of stuff I was willing to just sweep under the rug. Like, I know you see a nice fancy car, but whoop, we have no trim around the windshield. Okay. Oh look, we got a little piece of roof rail right there. Oh, nothing there. Nothing up here. Whoa, no door panels. At least the interior looks done other than that. Oh, uh-oh. Whoa, no window trim back there either. Okay. No license plate lights. That license plate, maybe I shouldn't say that on camera. But we do need to do something about that. Whoa. That's not nearly wide enough. Alignment needs redone. Hood needs re-gapped because it was loose and I just tightened the bolt, and now when I close it, yeah, I'm not even gonna do it, but it's like back here, so gotta redo that. So right there is already a good bit of work. I do have the headliner. The headliner is actually in the trunk of this car. And yes, I've had the headliner for almost a year now. Yeah. A funny story, when I was taking this thing to car shows this summer, everybody was like, wow, 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 nice car, nice car. And then they would walk up and they would stick their head inside the window and they would look up and just...
I'm so damn confused.
And I sat there in my lawn chair and I thought it was funny at first, but then I was like, dude, amount of work you put into this car, you should really make it what it deserves to be. I mean, just look at that roof. That is 3 different roofs I welded together with 0 experience. Pretty proud of that. Another big thing that we do need to adjust, my door is not fully closed. My gapping is better than that. The rear needs the most amount of attention out of this whole car. This rear, I have had to adjust it I don't know how many times. I literally had the axle out of this thing 6 hours before a car show. I don't want to do that anymore because I'm tired of my rear walking. Kept looking at the rear of my car and I was like, wow, that axle really looks like it's just tweaked, like it's sitting sideways. The only really true way is if I measure from my front spindles back. This car, if I don't keep an eye on it within a month, I'm 3 inches to the front on the passenger side and I'm 3 inches back on the driver's side. I just have to keep tightening it, and so we're gonna do 2 things about that. Number 1 is I really want to build a set of traction bars for it because I need them. I drill new holes through the leaf springs because they have that nub where your rear is actually supposed to sit up on. Well, it's not really true on that passenger side now. So that's the main thing, is like I have to tighten my rear off that nub. So we are gonna cut them off and put new ones in to hold it. And then also, I just discovered last night, or like 2 nights ago, that I never put my rear shocks in. I need them. And I actually have brand new ones sitting up here in the box, so I gotta check them and make sure they're the right ones. And then, on top of all this, we also do need to do an oil change, and I need to flush the trans because somebody blew their transmission line twice in the same day this summer, and we ran her a little low, I think, and she started to get a little black. Now we're gonna back up the car in the rear, unbolt that, start getting measurements. Okay, so it is another day now, and we are getting set up, start pulling measurements to the rear. We might be on still. I'm betting we're a little off, but that is what we need to find out first. I'm actually using these, which you take your wheels off and you can bolt onto there, and then you can pull 2 tape measures to do alignment. So I don't really feel like jacking up the front end right now and pulling all that. So we're gonna see if this works. I got the heat fan holding this one, and yeah. So we'll pull tapes and we'll see our measurement. Hopefully it's the same and we don't really have to finagle much. So that is 107 and a half. So that came out to be 107 and a half. So I'm gonna check the other side. We'll see what that is. A little tight. So that is about 109. All right, so say we have our car. Right here would be our front and back tires. So when I pull from here to measure that, this would obviously be passenger side, this would be driver side. We had 107 and a half on the passenger side, and we had about 109 on the driver's side. So obviously we got about, carry the 5, inch and a half difference. So now I need to find my common number. I'm gonna have to make this a little higher to make this side a little bit lower. Take this side up a half inch, that would give me 108. This side back a half inch, get into the 1/4 inches. 108 and a quarter, no, 8 and a half. Take that up another 1/4 and 3/4. Take that back an inch and a quarter, give me 107 and 3/4. Huh, I'm horrible at math, I really am. The other way I like to do is just loosen the rear, keep guessing. It's gonna be a funky number at the end of the day. Yeah, it does suck really not having somebody else to hold the other end of the tape measure, but I'm used to it. So there's a rubber piece in here on top and bottom that smush, just make it so it don't really rattle. Smush is better. Anyways, right here is a nub that comes down through your leaf spring, and when you bolt up, that nub comes down in this plate, and that's usually what holds your rear to your leaf springs lined up. Well, mine is not true. So that is the whole purpose of us doing this. We're gonna basically cut a new hole to tie that in. So to do that and to mark it out, I kind of need to get this rubber out because I'm gonna have to drill through the actual leaf spring. So we are going to take the rubbers out on both sides, and then we will get back to adjusting. You can really see it on this rubber piece. So this is where that nut is supposed to sit, be lined up, pop through that bottom. But no, this is pretty much where we sit right there. So when I'm lined up, that's basically how it sits. Same thing on this side. I don't think this side actually is as bad because this is the factory torque box. So you can see that nut sits right on the edge of it instead of dead nuts in the center. That's not really that big of a deal. I don't really know if we're gonna be able to do this side. Honestly, that's kind of gonna suck. I could put bolts on the back of it though. That would work. All right, we'll figure it out. So now's the part that sucks. I just gotta keep pulling tape measures and keep moving the rear until I get it perfect. Right away, I'm gonna try to slide that side back a little bit. I'm probably not going to touch this side because when I slide that side back, this side is going to move front because it's an axle and they're straight and both tires are connected. So yeah, you get the idea. Okay, so I think we got her. I am at 9 foot and 9 foot. We are going to tighten it up though and just make sure that it doesn't do something weird when we tighten it. And then if that's the case, then we're going to start marking everything out and get to the fun part. So now that rear is officially true again. Ignore that math problem over there. Yeah, like I said, I'm just not really good at it. But I can build a race car. And that's what matters. So I was kind of thinking about the leaf spring situation and drilling through all of them, put new bolts in. Like, that's going to be a pain in the butt. But if I build track bars, especially the way that I want to build track bars, and actually bolt on to the bottom like it does the crunch the leaf springs, like Cal tracks, if you're familiar with them, I'll put a picture right here. The way they are designed, your rear basically can't move because you're connected then. Well, yeah, it can't. No matter what, you are connected to the actual rear then, because those bolts come down. So if I do that, if I'm able to build a set like that, then I really don't have to worry about drilling new holes to the leaf springs. I mean, they already have the holes worn in the rubber. It is what it is. It's really not that big of a deal, but there's nothing to really hold it. That's why I keep having to adjust it, because all you're doing is just kind of squishing everything. But when you make more power than the car did factory, and when those bolts aren't lined up in that hole right, she'll just walk. We are gonna go check what pipe up there, up in my storage. We're gonna check and see. I did have some pipe to build traction bars for my Duramax. It's a little bit bigger than I would like, I think. I think it's like 1 3/4 or something, but I really don't care. Hopefully I have all the metal I need. And since I fabricate a lot of stuff, this is kind of scary because this is basically the only piece of metal I have left. Maybe I'll be able to use that thicker piece, but what I'm thinking is I basically want to copy Caltrack's designs. So let's just get in to make sure we actually have the rod first. Come up here in the attic, and we just got parts everywhere. There's my center console I actually built for the Camaro and wrapped in leather. There are all these switches in there. And yeah, I built that out of plywood. And then I got rid of it. Look at that view though. Look how good she looks down there. All right, I'm getting sidetracked. What were we up here to do? Yes, traction bars. Bingo. I don't know, that's some thick stuff there. This is actually a fence post I saved from a school job we did. So game plan, that is actually 1.5 inches, and it's just way too big. I might knock it down to 1 inch or 3/4, but either way, we are gonna have to run out. We also do need to find the ends for the track bars, like the eyelets. It's actually pretty simple, honestly, but I do need to find them because I thought I had them, but I guess I don't. We're gonna run to the hardware store and get some stuff. We did not get any more steel. They didn't really have any gauge that I wanted, and to be honest with you, I knew that they were probably gonna rate me on price, so I was like, I think I can make what I have work. All in all, everything I bought, which I will go through the parts list, was $74. Now, from this particular hardware store, they are very overpriced, and yeah, but I knew they would have what I needed. So like each of those eyelets were $23 a piece. We ended up only buying one steel rod because I brought my tape measure, did the math, and they will come out to exactly 2 foot, which is what I want. Now we're gonna walk through what we got. So this was a 3 foot piece. Let me show you my thought process. So right here we have 7/16 coupling nuts. We're gonna have those on both sides. We'll have these yoke ends. These are 1/2 inch by 20 right there. So they will butt against like that. These bolts run through like that, and then we got a nut. Wow, they're actually a little bit long. Have to put some washers or something maybe. And we have our eyelets right there with the swivel will tie into the couplers to make it adjustable. And I don't know if that thread size is right. I have zero clue what is going on right now. Yes, they work now. that is what we are left with. We are finally ready to start welding. I'm gonna be using my new Yes welder. This is a gasless MIG welder. They're great welders. I'm actually very happy with it. I don't feel like hauling my other main one down here. Not a promotional, I'm just letting you know that this is what I'm using. And yeah, I mean, it's all digital. Yeah, it's a great welder. They are, honestly, I like them more than them. Not to mention the welding helmet they sent me is the best one that I've ever had. And I have about 20 of them, so that's saying something. So comfortable. I can wear that thing for weeks. We were successful grinding these down, and so they fit in there nicely. So we're gonna weld that, and then I left them up there. And then we're gonna weld the yoke ends. I grinded them down on the edges so I can get a nice puddle in there, hopefully melt them together good. We're successfully threaded, so they thread into those perfectly now. The first thing I'm gonna do is mount this. Now the hardest part is gonna be making sure that this is true. Right there, that looks very good. Wow, it's even staying. Yeah, that looks money right there, so we're gonna weld that. So here they are. See right there, we got the threaded end. These are bracket pieces I just cut off. We're gonna climb under and see what they look like. We're probably gonna have to extend them out. These are gonna sit on the axle, and then we're gonna have to try and figure out what we need to do over here on the threaded end. But we're gonna put them under the car and see what we need to make up. Now you can see them laying there on the ground. The eyelets are in. With the bolts we are gonna use for them, we're gonna have to extend them because we're gonna be sitting at an angle like that. I mean, when the car lowers, it's not gonna be as severe, obviously. So we are gonna account for that. We're probably just gonna make it really tight to what it is now, because when it drops, they're gonna flatten out. I'm willing to bet that they are not near long enough. That is gonna be the tricky side on this part, figuring out how we're gonna connect it to the leaf spring. But let's look at it. So they are gonna basically sit on this piece like that, and then bend up back in there and connect to another bracket. Cowl tracks, they connect to the actual, there's a bracket that drops down from the leaf spring right there and comes out to like right in here that they would connect to. That would obviously be ideal, but I don't know. We gotta look at that real quick and see what we can do. Slide that jack out. Go underneath. All right, let's get a better view here. So that would be welded like right in there probably, which we're gonna bend these a little bit. Okay, so now I have them bolts pretty tight, and they are lock washers. So right about there is where I think we should be. It's fairly tight. So, sorry, it's kind of hard to see, but right there you can see that that is about the distance we need to be down from the leaf spring. But we don't really have much room right there for a bracket to drop down. What I was kind of thinking was actually welding a bracket to the leaf spring right here that would drop down and connect. Say if I get a 4-inch long piece, about 1.5 inches wide. Let's go 2 inches wide. And I want that hole to be like right there at 4 inches. Now I don't really have to check the other side because of the rear already being adjusted. Like, it kind of just is what it is. If I weld these brackets on these leaf springs, so this side is connected, then all I do is fold this up. I can mark out where they sit. I can take those brackets off, take them down to the bottom, weld them on, paint everything, and then all I gotta do is just bolt this in and slide this up into the brackets, and it's gonna hold that rear exactly where it is now. So, a couple months ago, we were tearing down playground equipment at work, and the type of guy I am, I just look at stuff and boom, things pop in my head. So, this old metal playground equipment we were tearing down, I looked at it and I was like, that's about the same size as the rear end. And then I could see the brackets and I was like, that would work perfect for track bars. Now, they were obviously a little bit smaller than most rear ends, even the Camaro. I knew it probably wouldn't work for a truck, but I figured I could at least take the bracket sides. It would make my life easier, and they were free. So right here is my stash. It didn't even sit tight against each other, but it pretty much sat like that. But we could cut more of these off to use them. So these are the ones that I already cut off, obviously, and we're looking at about 1 3/4 inches of material on all of them. Now, what I said I needed was, I basically need something that is 2 inches wide, and then I need about 4 inches long. Obviously, we would have some room to make up. We're about 1 3/4 inches wide, which is fine. Or do we just start fresh and say I take this and I would build I think that is probably my best bet. This is about my only other piece. Right there could be one. Get another one. Enough room, so then you'd have one. And this one. So that's 4. It's a lot of cutting though. And would that look goofy coming off the leaf springs? Welded to a leaf spring, let alone? I mean, who else does that kind of crap? So I decided we're going to go with the bracket theory. And we're just going to cut out 4 of them. I'm going to cut this initial one, and then I'm going to use this to mark out the rest. And then I will put them all together in the vise and trim them together, especially these angle cuts, to make them all look symmetrical. Now for this, I will be using my plug-in grinder because I don't feel like killing a bunch of Milwaukee batteries today. This is a Black & Decker angle grinder, and it's called the Firestorm. It is seriously the most powerful grinder that I've just ever used. It's old, it's beat up. I don't care. I mean, this thing eats. So we're gonna put this to work. Told you. So they are gonna weld like that. No, not like that at all. Sorry. Like that up on the leaf spring. And then you have this side, which I did just put all 4 of them combined and trued them up. So that side's gonna sit down on the axle. Sorry, you probably can't see it like that. And they're just gonna hold each other. The final thing we're gonna do is this side. We are gonna take this spacer and cut it in half so we can, oh my God. So you can see here, that's what I was talking about with the spacers cut in half. Yeah, I didn't really go exactly in half, but it'll work out. And also, I kind of just want to do some experimenting. I am kind of curious to how this is going to hold up and how much pressure is actually going to be applied to these. So if it does break, I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to be mad. We're just going to fix it again and make it better. But long story short, I am not going to show me tacking these up to the car because my phone is about to seriously die. I'm going to just go do that, and I will show you later once they are tacked up, the paint job, and then obviously the final installation. So right there you can see we got the first one welded on, the root pass. And she folds right up in perfectly. And that's how she'll sit. Perfect. Now we just got to do that to the other side. I did run out of welding wire. And it is Valentine's Day, and I am late to taking my wife out to dinner. So tomorrow morning, we're gonna jump on this and get her knocked out. It is now the next day, and I just don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know if this design is what we should do. And the only thing that I kind of have a problem with is welding into the leaf spring. Like if I was to cut this off, right? Because I only have at least 2 welds done on this side, so we're not too far past stopping. And then instead of welding this to the bracket, maybe I just weld it to the actual rear axle. And then we'll just slide this over to the actual subframe connectors. Maybe. Doesn't sound that bad of an idea. All right, now we are ready to do the new and improved way. I got this side cut out, and all honesty, I think this is a lot better. I also did take the eyelets out more. I don't want them ran in that far because, I mean, if I need to adjust them, that way I have room. The other way, I wouldn't have had room unless I needed to back them out, which we don't know. So I did thread them out about halfway, and I'm gonna weld them up that way. That way, if heaven forbid, if I do have to adjust, I can. So yeah, well, I'm gonna get these welded up in and wait till you see this. Okay, so tack, that's what we're looking at. That's the back on the shackle. And they run up, and I actually did flip-flop them. And then there is this mount right off of the frame connectors, and then it runs right back. So this is tacked up. I'm gonna actually drop this bar, take that down, start painting that, and I'm gonna tack the other side, and then I'm just gonna come back and weld these brackets and get them all tied in and done while everything's drying. And then I'll paint the brackets and then mount the bars. So I took off the back tires to give me more room when welding these front brackets, and they are done. They are done and painted on both sides. You can see that other side way over there. And yeah, they turned out pretty good. We got these off, these back brackets off. They're down below drying. You see the brackets down there on the ground. Traction bars are hanging up. I did go with a different color for the traction bars. I didn't want to do black. You know, I'm pretty proud of them, I guess. So I want them to stand out a little bit. You guys will get to see that in a second. So we have ran into our next issue, and that is these shocks are blue. And nothing else is blue on the car except the front shocks, but you can't really see them because they're in the springs. But you will be able to see these. And the color I went with for the track bars, they ain't gonna look good. So we're gonna paint these the same color as the track bars. So I'm gonna cut these clips, let them extend fully, and then I'm gonna start painting them. So there is the brackets, and we're gonna throw them back on, start hanging these track bars. All right, now it's time for the final review. She's looking pretty good. So right there you can see the shock, and there is the traction bar. All done up. Ooh. You can see there's a back view. I went with a high heat bronze paint I had, and I'm honestly digging it. Am I gonna paint more stuff on the car this color? No, but I really like that color combo. I think it goes good with the gray. And if you look underneath the car, you'll see a little added touch. That's all it is, really. There's the other side. This bracket fought me hard. I actually had to cut it and rebend it because these were switched somehow, but oh well, it works and it looks good. So let's get these tires on. The car is back on the wheels and it looks amazing. So if you're walking back, you look down under, bam. Look down at the back, you can see that side and that side. Man, does that just look professional. And I'm not gonna lie, I am really relieved right now. I mean, this rear has been a pain in my rear for a long time, and now I don't really have to worry about it anymore. We'll see. But that is a major win for me. So now I'll move on to the less funner things. And I don't know, with it having shocks now, I mean, it should sit a little bit different. She's kind of looking a little bit different, and I like it a lot. But we still need to figure out how to lower this front a little bit, or jack up the rear, which I'm more leaning towards that. But let's not get sidetracked. Let's keep going. So I got all the oil to do an oil change, but we're also going to throw something else into the mix. Now, what I bought, I don't know if it's permanent, and I don't know if it's going to stay, but we're going to see what it looks like. In worst case, I have to return it. I think I still have to get bigger tires, but let's just wait and see. So at the moment, I am running 275 40s on the rear of this car. My front are 245 40s, and they're just not near big enough. Now, I'd never rolled my fenders like I wanted to do before I painted, because I got into a rush and I forgot. But anyways, I definitely need to go bigger, and I need to go taller. But the size tire I want, which are probably a 305/35, are hard to find, especially used, and new, they are pretty pricey. So this is a cheap kind of, let's see what it looks like. So what did I buy? I bought 1-inch wheel spacers. See that? I need these tires to be like out to here. That would be perfect. Dually Camaro. You never know what I got up my sleeve. Here are our brand new 1-inch wheel spacers, fresh from YHT Auto. Just gonna throw this side on and see. Now, do I expect this to go right? No. Now, believe it or not, I have actually never put wheel spacers on any of my 25 vehicles I have owned since I was 16, and I am 22 years old. So I guess, yeah, that would be 6 years. I just haven't needed to. Just throw bigger tires or wider wheels on. Simple fix, but right now we are kind of in a rock and a hard place. And this morning I woke up and I was like, you know what, screw it. We're gonna try it. Please fit over that bore. Well, there's our first problem. We just lowered her off the jack stand, and I don't know. I definitely think this will get me by until I can find tires, or I might even go with a different rim setup. But either way, they were 69 bucks. Can't complain about that. And it's definitely, yeah, gives a real good look. I only have the one side on. Let me just show you. So look, now I at least sit flush. I know an inch isn't crazy, but that actually is definitely, I mean, it's an improvement for sure. I don't have to worry about hitting. Yeah, it's gonna clear just perfect. Look at that with the track bar, and the spoiler. That's a race car there, boy. So this, I think, is the only angle that I still don't like. I like when you look from behind, you can really see some meat back there. But either way, I think we're gonna run it like this summer. So I get comments all the time about the front end. I already rub on turns. So I have just big block coils in the front, and that is it. And when it sits on like a little bit of an incline like this, it looks worse than it actually is. But yeah, I mean, there's not really anything. I don't want to cut the coils down because, like I said, I already rub on the turn. So the last one is on. We're gonna open up this garage door and take a peek. I mean, don't get me wrong, this car looks sweet all the time, and it does look good. It definitely is an improvement, but yeah, we still just need bigger back tires. A lot bigger, a lot bigger. So while my fluids are draining, I am doing a special treat to this car. I did a bunch of cleaning today in the shop, and I finally went through all the Camaro parts from when it was original. I found something that I've been meaning to put on this car, and I haven't. So we're gonna do that. Now, when I got this car, the windshield was not cracked, but when I took it out, it cracked. Right here, we have the original windshield, and right there we have the Department of Defense registered vehicle, N 359, and this is from November 1st, 79. So, and then inspection sticker from January of 2004. I was only one. And we have Dover Air Force Base. So, yeah, I don't know about these stickers, but I don't know, the history of the car, I think it's pretty cool. And when I got this car, I mean, there was so much stuff in the glove box. I mean, like, this thing went a lot of places. There was national parks from all around the country, like the pamphlets in the glove box, inspection stickers from the 80s, a bunch of old juicy fruit stuffed in there. I mean, everything. Let me tell you, that stuff actually does hold its flavor. I'm gonna try to heat this up with the heat gun. I'm gonna try to put it right there. Wow, this thing's hot. I'm pretty sure I just barbecued this thing. Yep. Maybe I need the heat gun to put it back on. It worked. I have one wrinkle right there, but yeah, it's kind of hard to put a sticker on that is all folded up. What is smoking? So right here, as I was saying, I guess I threw out the other ones, but this is Delaware State Park, 91 daily permit ticket. He's August of 88, 86, and 87. So I just dropped the transmission pan, and I don't see this transmission lasting much longer. There's a lot of metal in this fluid. Now, I already wiped it, but I will show you what's just coming out again. You can see those metal flakes right there, and I already cleaned everything off and wiped it. It just keeps draining. But, you can see the fluids there, it's pretty black. This is what we got out of the pan. Definitely done worse, but for a car that you're continuing to drive, and you're not planning on replacing the trans, yeah, that's not good. And it stinks, but you can just see all that clutch material in there. And this transmission maybe has 500 miles on it. It was freshly rebuilt. I got it for a hell of a deal. And on our first real drive, I blew the line twice, lost a bunch of fluid, put some in, limped her back, but to get to a safe spot to pull over the one time, I blew the line at the bottom of a hill. It's not a crazy hill, but you don't want to be sitting on that hill. So I had to push it up the hill and get it parked to replace the line, and that's definitely what did it. So yeah, it is what it is. But these power glides are pretty tough. So, and it doesn't miss a beat now. So I just wanted to change the filter and put some new fluid in it to hopefully make it last longer. But we're definitely going to probably have to start looking at trans here soon. And I don't know if I'm going to switch it up. Might end up putting something different in it. Right there we have a new filter from ATP. We're going to throw that on quick. And then I'm going to paint the pan, same color I painted the track bars, just to give it a nice touch. The oil is drained. We just got to put some back in. And we can cross all that off our list. So I just pulled that off. And yeah, look at all that crap. I mean, that filter is completely full of metal. Look at all that clutch material, just metal chunks everywhere. You can see inside the filter how murky and bad and black it is. A scale of 1 to 10, that's at least a 9. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I don't know how it's still running. So I do have the original Power Glide down there. I trashed that one too. So this will be the second trans. I'm already on my second trans. I was going to rebuild that one because I knew I was probably going to trash this one. So I think we better get on that because I don't know how much more time this thing has. So the wheel spacers are Loctited and completely installed. Oil is changed. We got to add trans fluid, but that is because I just finished hanging the pan. And there is the new transmission pan. Now it looks like it kind of got hit right there. You can see where that bolt's all messed up right there, and that's actually the only style different bolt. And then all that, which you can tell they hammered out. So she definitely clapped something. So my ADHD kicked in again, and now we're going on another side quest. But I never actually realized this until like the other night, and that is mainly why I'm fixing it. Look at that. My fronts are taller than my rear tires. They're not wider, but they are definitely taller. And I don't want a front tire with that much sidewall anyways. I mean, it's not a pickup truck. I mean, it's a little excessive. We're not gonna drop it crazy, but I'm on my way to the tire shop and I'm changing out these fronts for now. All right, so that is definitely better. I don't know if there's a mistake or not, but I did not mean to go with that tread. I was told that the only thing they had was the same tires I actually already had. And I was gonna go with cheapos, but yeah, that was the only one that they had in stock. And I was like, okay, well, at least it'll be the same tread. And then this rolled out, and yeah, it is what it is. So we're actively working on the stance. We're gonna do the old trim the big block springs. If I would have left the small block springs in, it probably would fit and sit perfectly, but I didn't. So we are gonna cut about a whole coil and a quarter off. That should be the math to get it like 1.5 inches lower, I think. So, or maybe it's a half a coil and a quarter. I forget. I think it's a half a coil gives you 1 inch, they say, and a quarter coil gives you like 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch. Sorry, I want to do like 1.5 inches, I think. So I think I'm gonna cut like 3/4 of a coil off, and I think that'll be it. All right, we are all done. Let's get the tires back on, drop it, and hopefully we went enough, and hopefully we didn't go too much. I don't know. Damn it. Well, that'll have to do for now. All honesty though, the more I look at it, I think it'll look a lot better when we back it out in the garage. But it's really not. I mean, we definitely didn't cut off as much as we should have. But at the same time though, I mean, it's not terrible. I can measure it real quick, see what I have. At 4 3/4 from a place in my tire to the bottom lip of my fender, and I wanted to go 1.5 inches. And I went 1 1/4 inches. I'm at 3.5 now. I'd like to get maybe 1 more inch out of it, because you're not going to see a 1/2 inch, but maybe another inch. But I'd also like to drive it, and maybe them springs need to kind of rest in a little bit more. I don't know, but we're going to leave that sit for now. And you can kind of see it a little bit better from here. So it definitely looks a lot better in the front. Yeah, right there you can really see the profile. But I definitely like that you can see the back tires are bigger, and they are flush with the wheel wells now with them spacers. So before I forget, I really need to make sure I put fluid back in this transmission, because I will probably forget and go to start this thing up and drive it this summer, and I won't have any fluid in there, and we both know that this trans can't take any more abuse, really. This is my invention for filling the Power Glide, because I had to put a different dipstick on this car. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it works. Well, that severely backfired. Maybe I just use that at the very end to get the last little bit out of the jug. I don't really remember, it's kind of been a while, but yeah, I ended up getting transmission fluid all over the car. And then I remembered, hey, you have this. Use this like you have before. So we're gonna move on to this now. That is not working either. Maybe the other way was the right way. I was just going too fast. I'm so lost. What has my life become? So while I am still actively filling my trans, I was thinking, I didn't do this yet. I mean, look what we did gain in that stance. And this is the tire we took off, and that's the tire we put on, and you can really see that we definitely dropped her down a lot. And then the suspension looks a lot better. So I mean, I definitely think that once we are able to back the car out and look at it, we will be able to really be like, whoa, that looks way better. So that is probably it for today's video. I'm not gonna tackle the interior stuff like I said I was going to, because I started to, and what the? Who designed these stupid freaking clips? I've never done this before. I hate interior work. I don't even know where to start at. If this is the front, that would make my left side. No, this is my right side. So if I put this there, then I have no idea where I bought this from. Somewhere off of eBay. Shout out to Ching Chong, you did a great job. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. And this is why I did not want to do this. I need to just order stuff. I'm not using the original rods and clips on the headliner. I still need to order the trim for up front around the windshield. Same thing for the roof rails, and I don't even have my door panels yet. So we are going to tackle it, and I'm going to make it a #1 priority, but that will not be in today's video. We got a lot of stuff done on this car, a lot of cool stuff, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the subscribe, please share this. Hope you enjoyed this car. I know it's not perfect, but we are on the right track to make it perfect. I hope that you will follow along in this journey to see what other kind of crazy stuff we get into. But all in all, I still think it was a great video. I had fun. And now I will be able to sleep a lot better at night. So thank you guys. This is King of Kings Garage. Oh, why do I get myself in this situation? Well, I guess you can't say I didn't do anything to the interior. Guess we need to put a lighter in, but that'll ride. See it.